Welcome to the Daily Agenda. I thought we might have concluded this issue yesterday, but apparently it seems not, as a number of issues have cropped up in the comments and also in private correspondence, online shall we say. And so therefore I thought it was appropriate to give some further commentary on this issue. So I said yesterday, is there anything new on the right? And that I couldn't see that there was. I still can't see it. And that's the truth. But what I can see is the extent to which some people are just so easily swayed and influenced by the mainstream media. I'm talking about Restore Britain, of course. And I'll note again, it's not a political party, it's a pressure group. And just a month ago, Rupert Lowe, the so-called leader of this Restore Britain pressure group, told Camilla Tominey on GB News that he wouldn't rule out rejoining the Tory Party. I fail to see where this Restore Britain's going then, if that's the case. And as for it being a nationalist organisation, what on earth have these people been smoking? There is absolutely nothing nationalistic about Restore Britain. It barely even qualifies as patriotic. As I said, I defined centre-left flag group yesterday, and I stick to that. That's exactly what it will become if it transforms into a political party. And as for Charlie Downes being a nationalist, never in a million years. I've never seen anything nationalistic about the man in any way, shape or form. And quite frankly, he's a million miles away from ethno-nationalism as well. And this argument that, oh, well, you know, he's, because bearing in mind, you know, a lot of people are very dumb. Okay, let's make that point. A lot of people are very dumb and easily influenced, particularly by the mainstream media. We have to reiterate this because these people are dumb. And that's all there is to it. You know, I've been around 35 years and I'm not dumb. And I can see through all of these shady safety valve operations and the likes of Charlie Downes, who are offering Homeland Party members membership of Restore Britain. Well, why would anybody in the Homeland Party want to join Restore Britain? You'd be exchanging a political party for a pressure group for the cost of 20 quid as well, no less. Does that make any sense? And quite apart from which fact, the real issue is the reason why they're holding open membership of Restore Britain to members of the Homeland Party is because they want to dismantle the Homeland Party and every form of nationalism. And that's all there is to it. You know, there's none of this nonsense about, oh, I know from behind the scenes, having spoken to Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, or, you know, Charlie Downes, that they're much more favourable to nationalism than what you think. I couldn't care less whether they are favourable to nationalism on the surface or behind the surface. The simple truth is, neither of them are nationalists, because if they were nationalists, they'd be in something like the Homeland Party, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be on GB News, you know, as a talking head, or in Restore Britain. They'd very openly identify themselves as nationalists, and everything else is just wishful thinking and delusion. And I can understand some of the younger members of the Homeland Party harbouring these delusions, but anybody who's seasoned and experienced, well then obviously, I mean, that would just be absolutely astonishing. Not that any of the older members of the Homeland Party have actually said anything of the sort, and I know for a fact Kenny Smith can see straight through it, because we both come from the same background in the British National Party, where we've never been fooled by the likes of Restore Britain or any other Tory safety valve operation, the most notorious of which was UKIP, which became a centre-left flag group under fake Farage. And there was also a very interesting thing I noticed last night, was an interview between Sonia Poulton. Yes, I know you're going to scream, oh, she was on RT News. Oh, I see, yes, so working for GB News is better or worse, is it? Work that one out if you can. I know some people are very slow on the uptake, and it will take them quite some time to work that one out, but I'll leave that with them. But anyway, yes, Sonia Poulton interviewed Godfrey Bloom, the former UKIP MEP, and he was very clear about Rupert Lowe. He said until a couple of weeks ago he was a fan, and then he discovered the extent of his cooperation with Zionism and Elon Musk and the Friends of Israel. Well, the simple truth is, the moment a politician is revealed as a friend of Israel, a Zionist, it's all over in terms of their credibility. And the most important thing, I think, really, I'm struggling not to laugh. I really am, because it's very difficult not to laugh when dealing with these silly people. So the simple truth is, one of them came onto the timeline today and he said, oh, well, now, you see, the thing is, this mass deportations policy that Rupert has crafted, well, it doesn't take any crafting, does it? You're either in favour of mass deportations or you're not. Well, that's remigration. Well, actually, it is not remigration at all. It is just simply deportation of illegal immigrants. You know, you need to wind your neck in, quite frankly, you stupid people out there who make these comments, because you're never going to survive 5 seconds in a debate with me. Truly, you're not. You know, so don't come onto my timeline and waste your time, let alone my time, with these moronic comments, because that's all it is. It's from the cesspit of moronity that infects and infests the entire centre-right, which is in actual fact a centre-left flag group. So, mass deportations, no, not at all. It is not remigration. In actual fact, I have stipulated very clearly in writing on the dailyagenda.co.uk exactly what constitutes mass remigration. And the objective behind it is a 90 to 95% white supermajority. Rupert Lowe, Restore Britain, Charlie Downs are not in favour of that. These are all Tory boys. Don't waste my time with nonsense talk about, these are nationalists, because it's moronic. Absolutely moronic. They are not nationalists. Rupert Lowe is not a nationalist. He's a Tory. He's always been a Tory. Charlie Downs is just a young Tory boy, quite frankly, a talking head on GB News. He's not a nationalist either. As I said, if he was a nationalist, he would, in actual fact, be in the Homeland Party, wouldn't he? But he's not. And the reason why is because he hasn't got the guts to join the Homeland Party, because if he did, there'd be no paycheck from GB News et al., let alone Rupert Lowe. So forget the nonsense about, you know, they're so charitable and generous and friendly, aren't they, these people? You know, unlike UKIP and fake Farage, who bans former members of the UKIP, of the BNP and National Front from joining. What sane nationalists would ever want to join up with a Tory con man like Farage anyway? Come on, get a grip. You know, they're so charitable. They've even offered, out of the kindness, the goodness of their hearts. Yes, absolutely. It's the collective charitable nature of these Christian Zionist gatekeepers that they've held open membership of Restore Britain, a pressure group, not a political party. Goodness me, how many more times do I have to say this? But I'll say it again and I'll keep saying it. It's a pressure group, not a political party. Okay? So they're so charitable, they've held open membership of this pressure group, Restore Britain, to members of the Homeland Party to do and achieve what exactly? Nothing. Why would you want to exchange mass remigration in the Homeland Party for the much weaker, softer policy of mass deportations with the Restore Britain? And bearing in mind, it is a pressure group. It's not a political party. Yet again, we've had to make that clear because, you know, a lot of these dunces and these divs are very slow on the uptake. And okay, I can understand you say, oh, should you really talk about these people? Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, they've been on this channel posting their litany of abuse again, some of which I've had to remove because it's so moronic, I won't even allow it to disgrace the page. And those who say you should leave such comments on because it works with the algorithm, I couldn't care less about the algorithm. I'm not interested in the algorithm, quite frankly. If people don't want to watch the video, then they won't watch it. It really is that simple. But I'm not going to leave moronic shit pit comments on my YouTube channel, thus giving vent to this moronity and the whole swamp of low-life stupidity that it's grown out of. Absolutely not. Such abusive remarks will be removed. I couldn't care less. And as for those who say, oh, it's my right to free speech, divs, it's not your right to free speech, it's just your right to freedom of abuse. You wouldn't know what free speech is if you tripped over it. It's the reason why so many of these divs are in prison, because they were divvy enough and stupid enough to do the things that they did on social media and then rolled over without a fire and pleaded guilty because some bent barrister or dodgy little solicitor conned them into doing it. There's no respect. You can see it, can't you? You know, I'll make that perfectly clear. I have no respect, absolutely no respect of any description for anyone on the so-called centre-right, and that includes Carl Benjamin and the entire Lotus team. I don't have a dilemma whereby I have to wake up in the morning and think, oh, am I going to pretend to be a nationalist today, or a daft civ now, or maybe even do some centre-left flag group nonsense, and borrow some far-left lexicon and scream at sorry, I was about to say at racist. Well, that's what they think. Ethno-nationalists. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have any of these dilemmas. So the simple truth is this, just to clarify it on one very final damning point, you know, what is Rupert Lowe? Well, as Godfrey Bloom said, you know, a couple of weeks ago, he was impressed, now he's disappointed. Well, I was never impressed or unimpressed with Rupert Lowe, in truth. I said that I felt he was unfairly maligned, smeared, and subjected to false and misleading allegations by fake Farage, which is the norm. They've done it to me. None of them got the guts to come out and face me. And if they ever saw me in the street, then they know perfectly well that what the consequences would be. It's as simple as that. That's how much I like the centre-right, quite frankly. I detest them. I hope that much is perfectly clear, because they are vile, abusive, toxic trolls and cowards to boot with it. The simple truth is, threatening 90-year-old women, my mother, and my former fiancée, Elizabeth, is all they're capable of. They're not capable of doing it with me. So now you understand exactly where I'm coming from with these toxic trolls. I don't want them on my timeline, but of course videos like this will attract them, and I'll just give them the boot. End of. There's nothing to discuss with morons anyway. But I want to make it perfectly clear, and I think I have done. Rupert Lowe is not a nationalist. Charlie Downs is not a nationalist. Anyone who thinks he is living in cloud cuckoo land and needs to come back out of it. You know, a lot better places out here than living in cloud cuckoo land, believe me. Beautiful as well again tonight, you know, truly fantastic scenery. And it really is that simple. And then of course there's the issue that Rupert Lowe and his close relationship now with Elon Musk, that Zionist crook. Quite frankly, I have no respect for him either. I couldn't care less about his business achievements. He went to Israel, he sold out to Zionism. And as for his so-called free speech platform, X, it's nothing of the sort. Yeah? The shadow banning is still rampant. The account suspensions are rampant. But hey, presto, you know, an awful lot of morons are paying for the privilege of being shadow banned and suspended on a so-called free speech platform. It takes a special kind of stupid, a very special kind of stupid, to believe Elon Musk is a free speech warrior just because he let on there his fellow Zionist, Tommy Robinson, to spout the manure of the poisoned chalice they both sold themselves to, quite frankly. And of course Musk is financing Robin Sob, isn't he? And my view on Elon Musk is this: he should be banned wholesale, specifically in every single capacity, from making financial donations of any description to any British political organisation, and that includes Restore Britain. And the reason why I say this, because I do not want the Judeo-American criminal gang running this country. I want Britain to be free of this Judeo-American organised criminal gang, and I want to end the American occupation of Europe since 1945. Does that make it perfectly clear? Have you now got to grips with the fact that I am a nationalist and I have nothing in common with divvies from the centre-right? Surely it's not that difficult to understand.